Within 2 months of starting that one, we had done 4.4 million in sales in 10 days. And so we were like, okay, sweet. We have
dedicated to generating free web traffic like champs. This is the Internet Marketing Savvy Podcast. Please welcome your host, Dan Ashendorf.
Hi everyone, welcome to this call. I'm Dan Ashendorf, and today I've got something really interesting for you. Super cool. It's Brennan and Nick, and they are into licensing. Hobo Entrepreneurs, am I pronouncing that correctly?
We are the Hobo Entrepreneurs.
Hobo Entrepreneurs.
That's
right,
right.
Guys, so tell me a bit about yourself. So are you both from Utah? Because I just caught up with Nick before you joined. Are you both of you from Utah, USA?
We both live in Utah. However, Brendan might be the bigger hobo of the two of us right now. He is always on the road. He's gone 3 out of 4 weeks. It's crazy. I haven't seen this dude in a while now.
I'm currently in Atlanta. I'm in a hotel room. Sorry about all the coffee maker and hotel stuff
cool.
there. We are both from Utah. Nick's originally from Seattle. I'm originally from Colorado, but we both ended up in Utah, and that's kind of where we met. So.
Okay, good. And so you guys are really big into licensing, right? So what you do is you've just kind of looking at, I'm sure we're going to talk about this in just a moment, but you had your sort of wedding, it was a wedding company, and
correct,
you found a way to license it. So should we talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Hey, you go for it, Brennan. I mean,
you got it.
This is his baby.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, it's called Tolman Media. It's my last name, and I started as the wedding photographer, videographer. You know, I had plenty of friends. Like when I kind of like really started getting into it and trying to make a career out of it, and they were like, "That's not real videography. Like that's fake." They're like, if you really loved it, you'll do the real stuff. And I'm like, well, what is the real stuff? They're like, oh, you'll go make commercials for like the big brands. And so I always kind of like, I literally had people tell me that weddings aren't real. It was like the cheap cop-out version of photo video. And so there was always like this, I'm going to prove them wrong. You know, like someday I'm going to show them that like, you know, like you can make an awesome, profitable business out of it. So I started as the wedding videographer myself. And then as my, you know, I met my now wife, and we started shooting together. People liked the package deal. They liked photo and video together. It was nice for them. They didn't have to sign 2 contracts. So then we started doing it, got really busy. I met Nick around that time, who basically taught me how to run ads on Facebook, Instagram. So I used that to get myself more bookings, and then ended up hiring other teams. So I had a team of photographer, videographer that was not me and my wife that would go shoot, and we had to train them. And a couple years later, here we are, you know, in Utah. I think we have 50, 60 contractors that will go out and shoot just in Utah. And, you know, Nick kind of came back a few years later after teaching me all this stuff, and he was like, dude, this is huge. Like you should, I think we can turn this into something national. We can expand quickly by allowing other entrepreneurs to use what you've built. We had softwares, we had all this stuff. And so we kind of started this journey back in September. So it's actually been pretty short. But back in September, we said, let's let other entrepreneurs use all of our images, our knowledge, our portfolio software systems, and see if they want it. And now we've sold out of the USA, and they're all profitable. They're all making money across the US.
Right, so is that in the wedding niche, or could I, if I had a burger flipping van, you know, and I wanted to expand it, so I had, say, 10 vans, could I license that? Could I make like a little, almost like a McDonald's out of it? Is that something I could do with this?
There's no reason why you couldn't do it. Of course, we have certain rules that we like to live by. Tolman Media was kind of funny for us because it was like our first attempt at like doing a licensing deal. And honestly, we made it up, didn't we, Brennan? Like we kind of invented the space. And honestly, the way it got started, like I was involved with Tolman Media for, 9 months or so. And I just got so frustrated, right? We were making like $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a month. And at the end of the day, there was like no money left. I was just getting frustrated that, you know, that we just didn't, you know, we couldn't grow like we wanted to grow. And I said, hey, we need to do a hard pivot. Fortunately, Brennan was on board, and I think he would agree that he made more money on a slightly different model. And instead of us growing internally, you growing and getting 10 more trucks for your burger flipping business, right?
Yeah.
You go and you say, you know what? I'm going to give this opportunity to someone else. They can spend their time, their resources. They follow my system, just like franchising, but with high creativity, flexibility. And we sold out Tolman Media in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think we did just over $4 million. We collected like $600,000 in down payments, and then we started going international. We sold out Canada now. We're in the UK. We're still expanding international. So it's just crazy that if you give a pre-packaged on a silver platter a great opportunity, and you can say, hey, this is going to make you money. Here's the track record. And we have all the flexibility. I mean, people were just jumping at us left and right. It's just been crazy, man. It's so fun.
And to come back to the burger thing, part of our rules for like what could make a successful licensing company, at least as far as what we've done, is, ideally you should be able to hire contractors to go out there and actually fulfill. So burger thing's a little harder, right? The reason that the wedding model works so well is that there are lots of photographers and videographers that already need, like they're already shooting weddings. They already have the equipment. They all have the standard cameras. So we're just Travelocity for them. We're literally just booking them jobs and throwing it their way. And like we have another licensing business we just started called Apex Service Pros, and it's just, similar concept, but with like home repair, painting, anything home repair where it's, there are lots of contractors who they're not really businessmen. They don't know how to get jobs themselves. So we handle that piece. We run all the ads. We have the proven images and videos that will make customers click and talk to us. And then we literally are just throwing jobs to contractors all day, which is really helpful for them.
So could I sort of use that in an information business as well? So let's say I'm a good beekeeper. So I'm really good at beekeeping and all that sort of thing. I've got a YouTube channel, and I just know everything about getting honey and all that sort of thing. Can I use that model to kind of increase my reach and maybe get traction possibly in other markets and so on? Or do I need to have physical cameras and a studio and that sort of thing?
So what I'm hearing is, what are some of those requirements that makes a good licensing opportunity, right?
Yes.
So I can think of two. I know Brendan can think of other ones, right? For me, there's two main requirements. One is, to make it attractive to sell to someone else, right? Yeah. People in the world are used to, I'm going to make $10 an hour. I'm going to make $100 an hour. It has to break the mold of dollars per hour, okay? And for me, that looks like you need to be an owner, not an operator, okay? And I love talking about that. I don't want to be an owner-operator. There's lots of franchises that I can own my own CPA practice or whatever, right? We need to help them be an owner and not an operator. And that usually means hiring salespeople, hiring managers. Someone sells, someone fulfills. I've removed myself from the equation about 90% of the business. And that really helps them so they can make as much money as they want and still not spend their bandwidth, right? So that's kind of the first thing for me. And the second one is there kind of has to be this, I call it the Facebook ads ATM. Now it can be Google ads or any of these platforms, right? So, and you're the internet marketing boss, right? You love this stuff. So it's like, I need to be able to have this ATM where I can spend, in Tolman Media, we can spend $70 and expect an $1,800 sale. My cost per acquisition is $70. And it's just an ATM. I'm just trading. And that's all it really is. You know what I mean? And so can you do that in your system, and can other people duplicate it?
Right. Got it.
And so I'm going to throw something there too. You were kind of asking about like an information-based product, right? Like maybe a course or something on how to do beekeeping or anything like that. Yes. Like really, I think every business, when you want to grow, you hit this kind of pivot point, this crossroads, where you say, do I internally expand, across whatever, with my country, internationally? Can I do that in-house? Do I need to get an office? Do I need to hire people to do that? Or do I license the opportunity, the biz op, to other people? And for me, the biggest reason why we could not expand ourselves is because we're not in Colorado. We're not in New Jersey. And so like I've been there once, right, to New Jersey. And so I don't know the local market. And if there's an element of your customers are local and expect local people to show up, it's perfect for licensing, because the owner can live anywhere, but you need to really recruit those local contractors. If it's like an informational product where the people in New Jersey are going to buy it the same as the people in California, I would do that in-house. You'll make more money that way. You'll be able to control the profits that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So you've kind of moved away from the wedding niche. So what sort of niches are you guys in at the moment? Like, what sort of things are you doing?
So we recently, so after we kind of did the wedding one, like this has been my baby for 8 years. Like I have been in this wedding world, and you burn out, eventually, because you're just like, oh, I've done this so much. And so then, we were finally able to turn it into licensing and kind of step out of the business a little bit. Hired a president to run it, step out. And so then we were like, okay, we just learned a lot on how to actually turn a company into a licensing company. Can we do it again? And can we do it way faster? Yeah. So then we did it again. And we started this Apex Service Pros business where we were able to pretty much exact same model, different service, different industry. And within 2 months of starting that one, we had done 4.4 million in sales in 10 days. And so we were like, okay, sweet. We have once we did it again, the second time, we were like, okay, we've done this again now with all of our information. And so then we have now built a course, right? So we have built a course on how to we walk people through, how do you turn your business into a licensing company? There's a free section to help you qualify your business, right? Do you have a small business? Are you going to start a small business? And then there's the course, which will help you literally video at a time, hand by hand, everything we've learned, everything we did wrong. We paid the tuition for them, right? All the awkward conversations that we've had to have and all that stuff. We're hoping to help people expand nationally, for a lot, less pain than we had, and a lot cheaper than we had as well. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's just a lot cheaper for you to take what we've learned. You don't have to put your head in a trash can and know it stinks. We've already put our head in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tell me a bit about this Apex thing. I mean, that's a great headline. Was that 4 million in how long was that? 10 days?
We did. Yeah, $4.4 million in 10 days. And obviously for us, our vision is to eventually sell these businesses, right? And so one of the things that we talk about in our course that Brennan hinted at was like we have this number called, we have accounts receivable, okay? And one thing that we've learned with working with our business brokers who are going to sell, right now our plan is to keep working with Tolman Media, and any business that you want, you work with a broker 12, 18, 24 months, they'll eventually queue it up and sell the business for us, right? We've learned something kind of interesting that, when you build your accounts receivable higher, even though that's money we haven't collected today, we have not collected $4.4 million in 10 days. However, when we sell the business, a good portion of that will go into our pockets when we sell the business. So accounts receivable are kind of a sexy metric. You know what I mean? And we can manipulate it. We can control it.
Yeah. And if it's sales, I mean, if it's turnover, it doesn't have to be profit. I mean, it's 4.4 million in some sort of even if it's a future sale, that's still a legitimate number to talk about.
Well, and that's what's nice too, is like when these owners, these entrepreneurs, buy the area of Miami or something, it's pretty low risk, right? I mean, most businesses, they're mortgaging their home and they're dropping $200,000-300,000 grand to build the yogurt shop or whatever it is. And then they hope people show up, right? For us, it's like, hey, you're going to put anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 down, depending on how big the area is, and which isn't too much. And then literally you have no overhead. Your only cost is your ads, which should immediately, within a week or two, give you that return on investment. And so like we have people that, put, $20,000-$30,000 down. Well, they've already made 50 profit, back in 6 months. And so they've already almost doubled their initial investment. And then, the way that we get paid is we have to do good for them. So we need to actually help them make their sales so they can, if they buy an area, $20,000 down, but then, maybe $100,000 additional that they'll be in-house financing they'll be paying it back with 7% of every sale. Yeah. So think about that. I mean, for them to pay us back that 100,000, they need to, that would be 7% of everything they've made. We need to help them make millions of dollars, right? So it's a pretty risk-free business model for them. We're really incurring the risk on ourselves to say, hey, we're going to make you succeed. And because we want to get paid back, and we believe in our system so much that you literally can just put down a little bit of money to help us cover our costs to get you started. Right. And you'll pay us back because we know it's going to work for you. I mean, what other business works like that?
Now I know what you mean when you mentioned about the accounts receivable. So you have, okay, I get it. Okay. So if I was, say I was like a wedding planner, right? And I went with you guys, would I sort of get possibly, and then I was one of their customers, would I get a kind of an exclusive territory? So say one person would get Florida, the other one would get Utah, the other one. So that's the way it works. We're going to carve out geographical territories, and this is the way you scale it up, right? Because if you've got, say, 52 states, you get a sum for each state, and that means you can really scale it up like that, right? Is that the way it works?
Exactly. So, So, and I love this part of the business. So we can break up territories into small regions or large regions. With Tolman Media, we decided to, hey, there's 3 or 4 states where there are tens of millions of people. We broke those ones up. But like a North Carolina, I think there's 10 million people there. We were like, hey, we're going to bring in one owner. They're going to own the whole territory. We got clear defined lines and a border. You know what I mean? Florida, Texas, California, New York, we kind of broke those ones up a little bit. But most of the time, so in your example, a wedding planner, let's say a wedding planner goes out, they've hired a team, they've kind of proven it out, they have revenue, they're 3-6 months into it, they're running ads, they have their ATM working for them. And then what they do is they're like, hey, you know what? We're killing it in New York. Now I want to bring a partner on for Rhode Island, for Maine, for New Hampshire, right? And they're just like, okay, let's start expanding. They can do the same model and they can run ads to find entrepreneurs. They can post in classified, they can find entrepreneurs, they can network, whatever the case is, however they end up finding these other entrepreneurs. And then they can say, hey, look, here's my system. If you copy it, you should expect these results. And then they strike some form of deal. Hey, I need $10,000 down, $90,000 in financing. It's all performance-based, risk-free, and you're going to create an amazing income. And that is the fastest way a business can expand.
And one thing that is really nice for them is we say that 90,000 your in-house financing, we're not going to take your house. If the business is not working for you at any time, you can walk away. You can literally just say, hey, you know what? This isn't working for me. Cut your losses, which really won't be that much because you will have made some money and your initial investment was small. You can walk away and we'll just resell the territory to somebody else who wants it. And so we've had that happen 1 or 2 times from people who their life just got crazy, beyond their control, outside events, family members, issues. And they just came back and said, hey, this is awesome, but it's not right for me in this moment. We said, no problem. And so we literally said, you can walk away from it. And I think we had them resold in 2 days. And what's funny is most of the people who when we had I would say 12, 13 territories initially sold in the first 4 months out of the 6, we only sold 12, 13. And then once everybody realized, okay, this works. I'm making a ton of money, and they started churning jobs and making money and collecting deposits. It was like a blood frenzy of sharks. It was suddenly all of these 12 owners were coming back and buying up all the territories as fast as they could. Nick was in Hawaii for that last 2 months, and I would wake up because of the time difference and have 900 texts on my phone of we just sold this. And I'd be like, what? And it was just all these people were just they all wanted more. And so now we have owners that each own 5 to 10 territories each because they love it.
Nice.
And our best customers are the ones who are already our customers. You know what I mean? It didn't take any convincing or selling. It was just hey, in fact, I have a spreadsheet and I always recommend this. I have a spreadsheet with all the territories on there, and they saw, there's 50, 60 territories. And then they come back a month later, there's 45 territories. And then it was there's 15 territories. And every day I'm taking 3 off, and there was a bloodbath there at the end, and they would just all fight for it. It was awesome.
That's brilliant. I suppose the fact that there's no risk or very little risk is a really good thing for people to get involved with. So are you guys big in, when you're looking at generating traffic for your licensees, are you kind of big in social? Or, I had a guy here about a month ago, and he was into local marketing, and he was saying that he basically gets people to kind of go around and put leaflets in the doors, because that's, in his opinion, that's because you're local, that's your strength. So are you guys into social? How do you generate traffic?
So pretty much everything we do is Facebook and Instagram ads. Right. So we have our at the end of the day, it's all about having a proven ad, and all this stuff. But for us, what was really attractive to these licensees was it was before we did any of this, I bought an old Subaru for $1,000. This thing was dead already. My wife and I drove all over the country, and we would hire models in California, in Louisiana, in Texas. We would take beautiful photos of them pretending it was a wedding, and then we would go run those as ads in California, in Texas, because Utah looks super different from California. So you need localized photos. So we literally road tripped, killed this car in the process, and then we would run those ads. Maybe we would take 500 pictures in those sessions. Well, we would run all 500, and we would find the one that actually worked. And that's what nobody else had. And so then I knew this one ad gets me a $5 cost per lead always in California. And I know that I am closing 1 in 10 leads always. That's my average. And so for $50, I can get a $2,000 sale. And so when somebody came in the door, I was like, hey, here's the actual math. I went and took this myself. This is a proven image. And then we had some proven images in Utah that would work in all across the nation, Georgia, whatever, But yeah, at the end of the day, we're mostly driving traffic. There's 20 steps to building a perfect funnel. You've got your actual images, your videos, your copy on the ad, your placement on the ad, and then you got to get them to a website that hopefully can convert as well, right? So then you get them to that website that has, I literally spent years practicing which images in which order on the website made my conversion rate higher. So I have pictures of a bride in front of the Matterhorn in Switzerland. How high do I need to put that? Well, I also have Venice. Which one needs to go higher? And I have A/B split testing for years. The placement of the gallery, right? So when they get to the website, they're like, oh, okay, cool. I can really invoke an emotional response. So we had done all of that. And so really these entrepreneurs were buying all of our expertise on really pretty proprietary, right? Only Nick and I actually knew the code for every area. So yeah, we're definitely driving traffic, but there's a lot of psychology that we spent years trying to unpack.
Amazing. That's a really good story. So what does the future hold for you guys? What's the plans? Where are you going to be in 5 years' time?
Well, hopefully we'll have a couple of these sold under our belts.
Yeah, we're really kind of moving into, I guess, like the coaching space. We had we a couple weeks ago we were on the Bigger Pockets podcast, and we had so many people email us saying, I have this business, I can turn it into a licensing company, will you help me? And it was so many emails, and we have a lot going on. And so that's why we built this course, is we were like, well, if we build a course that will teach them to do 80-90% of the groundwork, then we can step in and actually help them and coach them and assist them with them having the knowledge that they have. So that's hopefully, it's really fun to help, I guess, change the lives of entrepreneurs, change the lives of these small businesses. Last year was so hard for me. Before we switched into this, we were broke, and it was the business was living off of loans, and it was really hard, just to be vulnerable. It was rough. And I was everything that I've ever worked for as an entrepreneur is totally failing, and I couldn't figure out why. And so when we made this shift to licensing, we baptized the business, is what we call it. We just started it from scratch with all, we only kept the good things and killed the bad things. And man, it has been a game changer for my life, for my family, right? And everything. So that's kind of what I think Nick and I are really looking to do, is finding entrepreneurs who are wanting to make that shift. They have a business that could turn into licensing, and we can actually help them personally, like coach them into that kind of a business and help develop their business and learn from them as well.
And if I can throw in my selfish intention, I got so much enjoyment out of selling the Tolman Media territories. I didn't feel like I was selling. I felt like I was doing them a huge service. And then there was nothing greater than being like, our North Carolina partner for Tolman Media, he came on board. And as soon as he came in, he sold 4 brides that first week. And so like his perception of digital marketing is so skewed because that's not how it ever goes. You have to burn $5,000 before you ever learn something. But he came in, he drops $250 and he brings in like $8,000. Like what? For me, I'm doing him a favor. And so like my selfish intention, I love the coaching space. I haven't been in it for years. However, if we can help people move in, I personally would love to find the best opportunities and help them build their business. Because honestly, it helps them, it helps us, it helps everyone, all the entrepreneurs. And I'm just thinking like in a world today where economies are, exploding and riots are happening, I'm just thinking, goodness, man, like this is how we can help other people and create jobs. And it's just, I love this idea of helping small business,
And that's kind of Nick and I's yin and yang. Is like, I'm really good at helping them get their business tweaked to the point where it could be licensable. And then Nick is the mastermind at literally selling the licenses. That's the hardest part, is selling. Nick will get on the phone with all the prospects and tell them why they need to buy the small business's license. And that's kind of like what we'd like to do, is I'll help them build it to that point, and then Nick will actually help them go out and just explode.
So guys, if you had to say, give my audience one tip, and I'm going to take one from each of you. So possibly starting with you, Brennan, one tip for making it in business. What would you say? What is that core thing?
Yeah.
And
okay, that's a fantastic question. So for me, like, I would say you have to find the right business partner. So both Nick and I have kind of talked about this before, but we always say when it's Nick and I, 1 + 1 = 10, because I have strengths that amplify his. Like, I can build him something unbelievable to sell, and then he can sell it better than anybody in the world could sell it. I'm the worst salesman on the planet, and I'm horrible. And so, so I think like finding the right, well, first of all, just being incredibly honest about your own weaknesses. What am I bad at? And just get to that really vulnerable point with yourself. Am I bad at the selling? Am I bad at fulfilling? What if people complain to me about? Like, what am I terrible at? And then making that a list and trying to find a business partner who is good at those things, but is also bad at the things that you're good at. I mean, that's pretty like rudimentary, but I think that's been the biggest key. Is like, I've had multiple business partners kind of over the years, and really, a lot of it just did not work out. 1 + 1 = -20. And so with Nick, it's like, I would say you have to find somebody that you can work with that will complement your strengths, because we all are good at like one thing and we all suck at like 9 things, And so I think being able to find that one person or 2 people that's really going to complement it would be my number 1 advice.
Nice. And what about you, Nick?
Yeah. So I think for me, I think there's like a real paralysis that happens with entrepreneurs who like don't know what the next step is or what to do. And I've had the opportunity in the last month work with hundreds of first-time entrepreneurs who are running ads for their first time. Okay, and I've seen them not know exactly what to do, and they get so scared. So I guess my tip would be, if there's a tool you're insecure about, like doing something you don't know, like, oh, I'm gonna try running Facebook ads. Just do it. Just try it. What's the worst thing that can happen? And so just getting out there and trying as fast as you can and fail, and then learn from it. Bring in other people and learn and fail and learn and fail. And that's literally just how you do that, brick by brick, line upon line, Do
not be afraid to take chances. Just do it. Right, guys. So if anyone wants to find out more, how can they get in touch?
So they can go to licensinglifestyle.net is where they can connect with us. If they have a business, they want to turn it into a licensing company, they want to work with us. So licensinglifestyle.net. We also have a Facebook group. It's called the Licensing Lifestyle Facebook group. They're welcome to join. It's open to join. So please hop on in and we can connect that way. Or you can just email me directly at brennan@tolmanmedia.com.
Nice one. And we are going to have show notes just below this video as well.
Very cool.
All right, guys. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you around, hearing of your success.
Hey, thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
sir. Bye-bye.